Okay, I'm going to try to jump to a student question.
Hello, my question is, how do you get ideas for your books?
My question is, how do you get ideas for your books? From Marga in third grade.
Okay, great question, Marga. Uh, I often get my ideas for my books while I'm researching a subject. I do, my research has maybe a kind of a couple of different phases, but the very beginning is just reading things that I'm curious about, reading about things I'm curious about. So um, it, I guess a few years ago now, I was curious about the Big Bang. So I started reading about it just because it was interesting to me. And as I was reading about it, some of the things that I read made me imagine pictures, and some of those pictures were kind of interesting to me, and those pictures gave me an idea for a book. Now, what happened was I had an idea for a book about the origin of the solar system because I was learning about, after I learned about the Big Bang, I learned about the formation of stars and the formation of our star, the sun. And it turns out that the formation of the sun, like the birth of the sun, was actually also the birth of the solar system, of all the planets. And it's a pretty interesting story about how all the different planets came to be and why some are small and rocky, like Earth, and some are huge and gaseous, like Jupiter. Um, but as I was working on that book, I realized I ran into a problem, which was that it was very, very hard to describe the scale of the solar system. The planets are really, really, really tiny compared to how far apart they are.
Mhm.
So if you're going to show an accurate picture of the scale of the solar system, it's very, very difficult because you can't actually see the planets, or they're just pinpricks of light. Um, so that got me thinking about scale and how I might describe the scale of things in space, of the solar system, of galaxies, and so forth, which led me to make a new book altogether. So as you can see, this is going somewhere. You asked how I came up with an idea. This is the book that I made, and this is what's called a printer's proof. The book isn't printed yet. What they do is they do a test print on these pieces of paper, and everything's flat. But this is the jacket test print proof. And in the book, it's called Your Place in the Universe. And in the book, let's see, I'm in reverse order right now. In the book, there are a group of kids that are 5 times as tall as the book you're holding. And they've got a telescope. They're going to do some stargazing, but then a foot appears.
Oh, cool.
And I don't know what that foot is doing there. Well, you don't know. I know because I wrote the book, but maybe you don't know. Until you turn the page. Whoops, I got the wrong one there. And you see that there's an ostrich.
Wow.
And the ostrich is 2 times as tall as the kids.
Cool.
And it turns out that ostriches, while they're the tallest birds, they're not the tallest animals, because a giraffe is about 2 times taller than an ostrich. And
uh-oh, they're out of kids.
and it turns out that giraffes are really tall, but they're not the tallest living things. Those are, you probably know this, redwood trees. And redwood trees are really tiny compared to the tallest buildings. And buildings are really small compared to Mount Everest. And Mount Everest isn't even close to the edge of space. Now, edge of space is so high that I have to turn the book on its side for this one. There's Mount Everest right there. And that line there's the edge of space, and then we can go up to Aurora Borealis, the auroras, and then you keep going up. There's some words. All the way up here is the International Space Station at the top.
Wow.
And the edge of space, well, it seems really far away, but there's Earth, and the edge of space is this teeny line right there. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay. Yep.
Really, really close to when you compare it to the size of the whole planet. And so the book keeps going like that to bigger and bigger and bigger, farther and farther away.
Wow.
Until we get to the farthest thing that we can measure, farthest we can possibly see. And we'll never, ever be able to see farther than this. And that's the edge of the observable universe. It's the biggest distance that we, not that we know of, but that we can measure. So that's my next book. So that's how I came up with that idea, and a preview for you.
What a neat look into that. That's incredible. Do you have a timeline for that when you're expecting it to be out to the world?
It will be out September 1st.
Very cool. Thank you.